saw you.
Hello and welcome to the English Show, episode 10. I was just asking Gil because I was very surprised that we're already at episode 10. I don't feel like we've already gotten there.
Episode 10, yes.
Gil, how are you?
I'm doing great. Happy New Year. How are you?
Happy New Year. Welcome to the English Show. This is, as a reminder, because we're only at episode 10, this is our English language show where we're answering questions live about immigration. We're talking about hot topics in immigration.
Yes.
This is to balance our Spanish language show that you can find us on noon on Thursdays on our YouTube show.
That's it. A little bit different, hitting kind of more of a vertical format. Vertical's all the rage.
I know, but it's been the rage.
Yeah.
We're late to the game.
I am. I'm a late comer to anything modern.
That's true.
That is true.
No, you're more advanced with me on AI than me. I refuse on the AI.
Yeah, I'm an early adopter in the sense of I'm ready and willing to have the robots. Like I want the robots. I want the robots to do my laundry. I want the robots to like put the groceries away. I want the robots to do stuff.
I agree.
Yeah. Like I just think it'll be cool. The second robot's a thing, you're going to see a robot running around the office.
I'm scared
because
of the robots.
I'm going to be like, you're like 100% like we're going to have robots.
I'm fully, I'm not accepting of it.
Yeah. I'm really into that. Yeah. Love early adopter. Have you? I don't have an electric car.
No,
I don't care for it. Not that they're not cool, not that they're not innovative, they're wonderful, but the truth is like, no, that's not, I like driving my car. Like I enjoy all that stuff or whatever. I think when I'm older, I definitely want to have an electric car that drives me everywhere. Like that's going to be incredible.
I have not gotten behind one of the wheels, one of the ones that's like the self-driving autos.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
I mean, that's going to be the reality in the US, I would say definitely. I mean, all over the world, but in the US, that is going to be the reality in the next 5 to 10 years. I mean,
Stephanie will be walking.
You know, well, let's see. Let's see what you say. Anyways, so obviously, if you guys have any questions, we're here to respond to that. Again, the show's been a little bit different. We've been kind of picking topics that we're discussing. The topics that we're talking about today, and we're going to just bring that up. We're talking about EB-2 NIWs and O-1 specifically for innovation and tech. Okay. And let's be more specific. Tech entrepreneurs, tech innovators, software designers. There you are. That's Stephanie when she's wearing her wig.
When I'm actually, the hair choice today wasn't great. I didn't realize this wouldn't look good on camera.
Don't worry. It's fine. So we're talking about, what do people that are involved in technology companies, entrepreneurs, startup, this will definitely bleed into other areas of business, for example, and innovation, but specifically EB-2 NIW and O-1s. I say for me personally, I like to do the O-1 first, even though a lot of people come to us that have already done EB-2 NIWs, so we do O-1s for them. Specifically, the O-1 we're looking at is the O-1A. Many times we're doing it with the person's own company. Okay, so generally they have a startup here in the US. There's a board of directors, there's other partners, there's investors, there's angel investors. It's a startup. It could be very big, it could be very small, about to kick off. The idea is that company is going to be acting as your visa sponsor for an O-1A. Generally speaking, the reason being that O-1A visas require a company and you are an employee of that company in the future. A little bit different than the arts, O-1B, O-1A specifically. Stephanie, talk to us a little bit about that.
So essentially, something that was new, let's say with the O-1A, as far as being self-petitioned, this is something relatively new. It happened, about 1 to 2 years ago. But don't think of it as you're being self-petitioned by you yourself as a person, right?
Yes,
so the idea is you are opening a company, or perhaps you already have a company open. Ideally, you have a co-owner, a co-founder. That way there's someone who could sign on behalf of the company, basically a board of directors that you report to, someone else you can report to. I don't like the structure where you are the single and only person that is involved in the company, because I want to be able to show that you report to someone, right? Now, In the self-sponsor, the self-petition, basically that company is petitioning you in order to potentially serve as a director, CTO, CFO, whatever it may be in that industry. But the title we're actually using is whatever it is that you specialize in, right?
Mhm.
So let's say that your focus is user experience, right?
Yep.
So you are a specialist in user experience, but your self-petitioning company is sponsoring you in order to be the director of the company, and the company's focus is user experience, right?
Mhm.
So that's the way to formulate it on an O1. And then what's really nice, if we talk about the EB-2 and NIW, is I like to utilize that same company, potentially show the growth of that company, potentially have a business plan in order to continue showing how that company will continue to grow,
Mhm.
and utilize that as my basis of my EB-2 and NIW. And that's the national interest that I'm bringing to the US, which is continuing this company that's already had some sort of success.
Generally speaking, especially in the technology sector, I would say, generally speaking, what we see is a lot of software engineers, a lot of innovators that are have a great product that they're launching. How do I tie that into the endeavor? Listen, if you, and I know we're not giving all the background on these visas right now. We're just talking kind of generalities. We have a ton of content on our site.
Mhm.
If you want to take a good look at EB-2 NIWs, what's general requirements, O-1As, what's general requirements, all that stuff. But I'm looking at that endeavor, and I think with technology there must be an impact more than other sectors. I think when you're talking technology, but more than other sectors, it gives me the opportunity, especially if I'm creating an app, software, if I'm creating a product, if you have a patent on something, if you have if you have an actual application that is already has users, that is already out there, that you're looking at, you could get the analytics, the data, and you're like, hey, we have users in these 20 countries outside the United States. A lot of times people focus on national interest and they think it's only within the United States. I think international interest is phenomenal for the case as well, especially when we're talking technology. So I just feel that what people are doing with technology and innovation on their day to day, they're creating what they need for an O1A, definitely.
Mhm.
And they have the possibility to roll that over into an EB-2 and NIW. Many people have done the EB-2 and NIW first and are trying to roll that into an O1A. I think definitely that for me is a green light when I see it generally. Not everybody that has an EB-2 and NIW has a guaranteed O1A. Let's be very clear about that, because it depends how poorly prepared or good or not great, or how it was structured, the EB-2 and NIW. So you might have to do a little homework on that O1A. But generally speaking, I would say most cases we're able to convert an EB-2 and NIW into an O1A.
Because, for instance, one area where they sort of overlap is I want to be able to show both on an O1A and an EB-2 and NIW that you have the sort of critical role for a company, right? Now, if it's the example that we were giving previously, which is you have this critical role in your own company, in the company that self-sponsored your O1, and showing the importance and the growth that you have brought yourself to the company because you are the director of the company, for instance. Or perhaps we can show that you had a very critical and leading role in companies in the past, for instance, in your home country, right? So that overlaps and that bleeds into the two. If you can show the impact of the role that you had, typically using an organizational chart, and show the exact projects that you've done within the company and why you're the one that it can be attributable, the success of said project, if you can impute that success directly to you, that's going to be useful for both your O1A and your EB-2 and NIW. So it is, a lot of this stuff is interchangeable and you can utilize them in both cases. The O1A is simply going to have a little extra as far as what I call that public profile, that public persona.
Yeah. I just feel there's such a great opportunity for somebody that is in tech, and again, don't think of the Steve Jobs of the world, don't think at that level. Okay. We're not talking about that. Those are unicorns, right? So that's going to be,
and you don't have to be a unicorn.
And you don't have to be a unicorn for this. Okay. So we're talking, hey, you had a great idea. You developed it. You got a small team of people working on it. You have users, you have something that has an actual impact in a particular industry or sector. And I think that absolutely. This is a person that should pursue an O1A and an EB-2 and IW very likely. A lot of those O1As, by the way, and I'm sorry, I know we're talking EB-2 and IW right now, but a lot of my O1As are EB-1s. And they're phenomenal EB-1 cases, especially when you're the CEO of the company. If you have patents, you have research, et cetera. I think it's 100% the best ideas to go ahead and do a full analysis on whether really you're more of an EB-1 or an EB-2 and IW. But what I'm saying is O1A, usually it's a pretty good EB-2 and IW. EB-2 and IW, usually is a pretty good O1A.
I think one of the things that if you're in tech that you should be particularly focused on, right? That could be useful for both your O1A and your EB-2 and IW. I particularly like, for instance, there's a lot of competitions in the tech area that you can be a part of. And that doesn't exist for a lot of other areas. For instance, there are things like hackathons, things like pitch, you're pitching the startup idea. So startup pitching competitions. There are competitions like, the Y Combinators of the world and those that have come out of the Y Combinator model, right? So because you have so many of these types of competitions in your industry, put yourself in a position to participate in them, because whatever the result may be, at the very least, even if you don't win, you have that showing that you were present there, that your company was present there, that the model that you pitched is present, and it's getting this sort of public eye and public viewing
like
area.
An incubator as well.
Incubator type thing.
I would put that in there.
They're very, very useful. And those hackathons, the incubators, the pitches, and all those competitions are useful for both the O1A and the EB-2 and IW, even if you're not winning. Yeah. Also put yourself in positions to judge them, right?
That's
so
exactly
not only to compete, but also to judge them. If you can judge, we've seen user experience competitions. We've seen, like we said, hackathons. We've seen some for developing like some sort of new application. Anything where you could be an evaluator.
Being part of the incubators committee, deciding which companies are being selected and which projects are being selected. I think that's a phenomenal judging in the field of endeavor.
Right.
So that's
very useful for both of these types of cases.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Which is, it kind of goes in line with what we're saying, which is basically what you're doing on a daily basis.
Coding
coding
competitions.
Fantastic. What you're doing on a daily basis is kind of lending itself very well for this type of case.
Right. I also like when individuals are doing sort of speaking engagements. So if you're doing these speaking engagements, it also lends very well to both your O1A and EB-2 and IW, because in EB-2 and IW, it's helpful in showing that, wow, this is an individual who is recognized as an expert. So they're what's known as, well positioned in order to be able to promote this, because there's someone who's recognized as an expert in their industry. That's why they're talking to people. And in O1A, it's very useful in that context as well.
Absolutely. And just generally speaking, this is in the context of an overall plan. Right. So why go O1A first? Because it's going to be faster. I love to do O1A, EB-2 and IW at the same time. We do it all the time. Sometimes we do things like I'm doing it right now. E2 Visa, Investor Visa, beautiful company, beautiful investment, great company. And we're jumping into an EB-2 and IW immediately thereafter. Obviously, I don't want to do them at the same time because of immigrant intent for the E2 Visa. But other than that situation, everybody thinks, oh, I need to do only one, then I'm able to progress to the next step. That is a way of doing it, but maybe in your given situation, it's not the best. Sometimes if you're doing an O1A, parallel to that, I'm also filing an EB-2 and IW just to get the clock running on that EB-2 and IW, since it's a much lengthier process than the O1A.
Yeah. And then as far as the EB-2 and IW, when do I consider that over an O1A? Potentially, if you have not developed that sort of public persona aspect, but you can show that you've developed very strong tech companies in your home company and you want to develop a strong company in the US, that may be an indicator to you. Let me go straight to EB-2 and IW, right? Because I don't have sort of a proven track record yet. I don't have these things that we're talking about, sort of competitions, judging, participation as an oral speaker. I don't have those things, but what I do have is a track record of having made a successful tech company in my home country, or having participated in a startup in my home country, and I want to bring that to the US. That's when you should potentially look directly at going to EB-2 and IW.
Yeah, it's a great idea. And then again, what's your plan, right? So if your plan is more long-term, definitely, this happens to me a lot. They're like, hey, Gil, we have plenty of time. I'm in no rush. So in that context, maybe we'll jump over in O-1A and we'll go directly to a green card because they have the time necessary. Just speaking to somebody earlier today, I could just do a whole show on the consultations I give.
On my today,
Yeah,
I could do a whole show.
I could literally do
today.
it. And we're talking. They're like, yo, the thing is, I need my spouse to be working. And with the O-1A, for example, they're not going to be working on that. O-3 makes total sense. That person is really, actually, we're doing more of an EB-1 for them because even though it's going to take longer than the O-1A, clearly, it's just better. It's just going to be better, and we're going for it. So we're going for the green card. So it's very, very case dependent, very background dependent. And one thing I do advise people of doing is don't deny yourself the possibility of doing this.
Right.
By that, I mean, all the time people say, I don't qualify for this because I'm not that extraordinary. I'm not that exceptional. Distinction is an interesting word because people think that it means I'm at the top 1% at what I do. And if that were true, I'm not saying it's not true in some contexts, but if that were true for green cards in particular, who would have a green card?
Adele and Steve Jobs.
That's it.
That's it.
Them. Honorary for Steve. Honorary green card for Steve.
Because he's American.
And so the truth is a lot of people will just basically, oh no, I don't qualify, oh, my friend got this, but wow, his credits are so much better than mine. This person's, their experience fantastic. They don't sell yourself short.
Think Ratatouille. Everyone can cook. Everyone can build a case.
I think so.
And you can build a case relatively quick. I was talking to someone today, and she's a very successful software engineer, and perhaps she hasn't done a lot of this sort of extra stuff. So she's already presented to EB-2 NIW. And this is, I think, a little nugget actually that's useful for, she's an Indian national, right? EB-2 NIW is going to have a longer wait time for Indian nationals. So she has her EB-2 NIW. She has it approved. But now she's like, let me go try and do an EB-1.
Great point.
Don't be scared that say, well, listen, I didn't have that public persona, so I went for the EB-2 NIW. I got it, but now it's a 10-year wait because I'm an Indian national. You can now you have the time. You have 10 plus years to wait on that EB-2 NIW.
Take the priority date as well.
Exactly where I was going with that. So build your case on an EB-1. Start working on these extra things now, right? It'll help you for an O-1 short term. You'll also be able to file an EB-1, and you can utilize the priority date from the EB-2 NIW and potentially shave off a year or some off your wait of an EB-1. And the EB-1 wait time for an Indian national is only about 2 years.
It's not bad.
So it's like there's ways to do it. Don't discount yourself and don't discredit yourself, because even though maybe you're not ready now, you can be. And that was the consultation I was having today.
Yep. Let's go over some questions. Questions. Heidi. Hey, Heidi, how are you? My fave lawyers. What about the EB-1 for tech engineers? Yes.
Love it.
Yes, it's possible. I mean, it just comes down to creating the analysis, Stephanie, and just saying, okay, patents, publications, lead and critical role, memberships. Do you have press? Have you done judging? Usually what's interesting in tech is maybe the salaries are kind of high. And you could win a good salary argument there. Maybe you're part of a team that innovated something that received an award that has a very important recognition. Maybe it's, maybe I'll lump in there like 40, under 40, people in the industry. Forbes Business Council, all that type of stuff.
Member of IEEE at a professional level.
There we go.
There's a lot.
But let's go ahead.
All right, let's go. From Instagram, Pedro Paviol. Hi, my green card application doesn't show the wait time anymore. Before I could see the approximate time. Yes, a lot of people reported that over the holidays to me. It changed. So before it would have when you logged into my USCIS, which we don't really do because they don't allow us to do as attorneys. But when they were logging in, before it used to have an estimated wait time of what's next. They eliminated it.
It's gone. So they're like, hey, wait. Go back. What's the purpose of even having the online account if you don't get it? I would tell people all the time, hey, do the online account, set it up, because it's nice, because you could go ahead and, you could be checking on the case. You could see more or less the time frame. It's helpful for people, and it kind of puts them at ease. They'll be like, oh, Gil, it said 2 weeks. Now it's 2 months. Hey, that's fine. But at least there's something. Now you just have to go with the general processing times on the USCIS website, which, by the way, is really no longer dependent per office, and they're very inaccurate, and it covers every case in the United States, generally speaking. So I'll just give you an example. I was just talking to a gentleman about his employment authorization. He's like, Gil, it said there 2 more weeks I was getting my employment authorization. I'm like, unfortunately, when we look at the processing times, it's 8 months.
I-765 is reporting 8 months? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because we're not seeing them in 8 months.
No. I'm saying, like, I'm getting probably all of them within 6 months. But whatever's happening there, okay, they've made this decision to take off that time. Right. And it's like, and now we're subject to whatever they want to tell us. Sorry.
And what's frustrating is that you see, it'll say just like case received. And that's the only thing it's going to say for months and months and months.
That's the crickets. Oh, yeah. Is that the crickets?
Yeah, literally.
That's the crickets. Okay. Hi, Rodrigo. Hi, how long is the I-45 combo card taking on average under an NIW? When does USCIS typically switch from DOF to FAD? It's usually around March, April visa bulletin. Not always. Dates of filing versus.
It took me. I was like, DOF and FAD.
No. I was with it, Rodrigo. I was with you. Thank you for not spelling it out for us.
What is this? Dates of filing final action as well.
So I don't know if that's true every year. Okay. But can it switch? Absolutely. Are we expecting it to switch sometime this year? Yes. I think we'll see that. That's just the reality of it. As I mentioned previously, they have okay. This is crazy. I've been seeing in some cases combo cards get in 6 weeks. Okay, 8 weeks. We have multiple clients with combo cards. A family of 6 people, 5 of them, not the principal, all got the combo card, Stephanie. Work permit, travel permit, same document. His has been pending now for like 7 or 8 months. And he's the principal of the case.
That always happens.
Constantly happens.
The family gets everything before the principal.
Yeah. So unfortunately, that's the general time frame that they posted. By the way, travel documents, much longer. Mm-hmm. Okay. And don't even be surprised. We're seeing it, even though you should receive the combo, they're bifurcating it. They're separating it out. And they go back and forth with that one, Rodrigo. Like they'll go back and forth. Sometimes it's combo, sometimes it's separated. Listen, at the end of the day, I always feel that the most important thing is getting the work permit, generally speaking. I think they should prioritize that. And then the travel whenever it comes in.
We have some nice questions on the tail end over here.
Go ahead.
Dodgers Forever. As a founder, can I raise money on an O1 or do I need another status? So what I have done, I've done a lot of O1s as investment fund director or investment fund manager, where essentially the self-sponsoring company, the one that's sponsoring you for your O1A, they're going to go ahead and create the company, or you're going to be obviously one of the founders of the company and you're creating an investment fund. So you've pulled your investors and you're gathering the money and you're going to go ahead and now find the company in which you want this money to be invested. Now, the key with my O1s for investment fund directors is that the second that the company is now purchased, right? You've acquired the new company through the funds you had you've pulled with your investors. Now you have to go ahead and switch the O1 to the new company because you're usually going to become an employee of the new company. That's the most common structure with an investment fund director, because you're not going to just stay with the investment fund if the funds have already been invested.
Yeah, I mean, if you're out, you're like, hey. You create also, so a lot of our O1 clients. Yeah, a lot of our O1 clients, they get it. They get it. They were the CEO. The thing blew up. They sold to venture capitalists, etc. And they're like, Gil, I'm out. I'm like, great. Okay. Let's structure something else.
Right.
Listen, if you sell a tech company and you're getting that nice chunk of change, you should probably consider doing an EB-1.
For sure.
Like,
then utilize the traction from the sale, right? Mm-hmm. So absolutely. I'm actually working on one now. So utilize the traction from the sale. Make sure there's a press blitz that discusses the sale of the business. Make sure it discusses that it's one of the biggest sales for this investment fund, or make sure you're discussing that they acquire this company, that they expect an X growth, an expected growth of X, right? So utilize that momentum with the investment fund and with the sale and with the purchase, of the new company in order to build a profile for your EB-1. But yes, you can, as a founder, do an investment fund as your O1 sponsor. And then once essentially you acquire the new business, you just have to be careful there because we want to go ahead and change your O1 sponsor to something else.
Good. Wayne, pertinent question. I've heard that TPS to F1 applicants are getting noids, citing the June presidential. Not all, just so you know. Before the presidential proclamation in December, I was seeing every TPS to F1 be approved without any issues. Something happened there, obviously, with the proclamation. Do you have any successful cases after responding to these noids? Yes, we do. But as you're aware, currently there's a pause in the Venezuelan cases, like there is a pause in the Venezuelan cases. Do not expect to have a response on that case until this pause is eliminated. Regardless, right now, we have multiple cases, Stephanie, premium processing work visas for Venezuelan nationals and other countries on the list that we are already well past the 15 business days on the O-1s. They do not respond. They're saying that since this is a security measure, your case is under review for security purposes, because that's the purpose of the proclamation, right? The purpose of the proclamation is to vet people, quote unquote, whatever that means. Okay. So this is a security issue. Like, oh, and this is the best part. They don't have to return your premium processing money.
Well, they haven't said that yet. They haven't officially said that yet. And I'm like stressed for my clients about it.
I'm telling you, I
figure
I've dealt with it before, not right now, because of security issues for a client, and they refuse to give me back the premium processing money. So I'm just letting you know, unfortunately, that's so yes, right now, Wayne, they're all on pause. There's really nothing else you could do about it, but it's important to monitor that situation. Hey, good news this weekend. What can I say? The memes were exceptional.
Oh my God, exceptional.
The memes, the Maduro memes were about as good as it gets.
They were top notch. I saw one which was the Trump national bird, and it's like the bird of Venezuela.
I love that one. Space. I was floating that one to a lot of people. Yeah. So given the current state of events, I see positive things potentially in the future for Venezuela-U.S. immigration issues, specifically, hopefully, like you mentioned, Stephanie, immigrant visa issuing, especially family-based immigrant visa issuing, all that, but hopefully employment-based, which affects many of our clients at the consulates, including potentially, who knows, opening up the U.S. consulate in Venezuela once again.
You heard it here first. Gil is of the opinion, and I actually believe you. Once you said it, I was like, you know what?
Hey, when they set that up again, and U.S. companies are pumping oil again out of there, they need to have a consulate there.
Right. It's such a good point.
So it's like, it's just not going to be fast. Okay. Like I'm saying maybe end of the year, maybe 2027. But hey, this is all super positive, I think, for Venezuelan nationals. I would expect hopefully in the future they could be taken off the list and we could kind of see normalcy once again in their cases. But you are correct, Wayne. It's they are applying that currently.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What happened last episode?
What are you talking about?
That I wasn't here, so it must have been a disaster. And Emma says that last time you said someone with asylum pending exited and re-entered on a tourist visa like a dog strolling back into his home.
Can you believe that? I didn't. No, I didn't. Did I call her? I don't think I called her a dog. Did I say? I think maybe Alexis said the dog part.
She said you.
I had a client.
They're like, she was shook with Gil saying
that. They're like, dude, I
can't trust these boys.
Sorry, Emma, if I offended you.
It would be like a cat returning home.
I didn't. I don't know. It does sound like me.
It sounds like you. That's why I was
sound like me. I could have totally said that. I'm sorry if I offended you, Emma. But can you believe that?
That's crazy.
Isn't that insane?
That's
and
crazy.
I was blown away. I'm doing an O-1 right now.
That's crazy.
And they enter on B2.
Like a dog strolling back into their home.
We're going to switch up B2 to an O-1. Anyways,
that's incredible.
We came to the conclusion that they let her do it because she's pretty.
Oh, pretty privilege is a thing.
I'm telling you.
It's 100% a thing.
Like, listen, how many cases have I won that the evidence is not the greatest, but the person's like you're talking the guys in, oh, he did a Calvin Klein ad in his underwear. Dude, that's the first picture. I'm putting that guy's junk in the front. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm talking page 1. I'm like, here you go. Hey, I'll take it. It's like on an
I-140, you don't have to technically put the passport.
Oh no, you gotta put
in the passport.
You gotta put that.
First thing I'm putting in.
You gotta put that. I know it sounds ridiculous what we're saying, but I feel there's a seed of truth to that.
It's pretty privileged.
Yeah, I think so.
We put even the photos in the letter sometimes. Alrighty. So this one was a good one that we said, do you think this also applies to data analysts? So yeah, Liliana, we've done a lot of data analysts both for O1As and for EB2 NIWs. Data analysts, the key is really showing your importance, so your critical role there, right? So oftentimes, especially with larger companies, there are many data analysts. What I want to show is how you were more significant. For instance, maybe there was one specific project that you were leading for the company or that you plan to lead in the company in the future. That is a really good point for EB2 NIW and O1. For data analysts, there are also competitions. I know IEEE has a competition specifically for data analysts. I know there's one like, I think it's called like Data Hack, that is literally something related to data analytics. But yes, both options are available, both O1A and EB2 NIW for data analysts. Again, it's just how you structure the case.
Recently been very successful data analysts making an argument on using the data for consumer behaviors and things of this nature, and just very. I think that where you go with the data is be as specific as you possibly can, and I think it could be very helpful. I'm not sure what Jasper means. What if the employer has never sponsored anyone before? Do you mean, Jasper, when we're talking the context of the O1?
Like it's a brand new company.
If it's a brand new company, that's fine, as long as it's a legitimate company, as long as it's a real thing. I don't mind that it's a newer company, newish. My preference if the company is like, at least 6 months old. I've done it shorter time. I mean, that's really not been an issue with immigration, as long as you have a project attached to it, financing, maybe some money in the bank, like something to back up that this is a real business enterprise.
I like for the company to have a website.
I think, yeah, social media presence, website is good.
Website.
Absolutely. Yeah, just to show the veracity of it. I agree with you.
Yeah.
How about this, Steph? Hello, attorneys. In your experience, when a case that your firm prepared receives an RFE, in what situation would you recommend withdrawing the case instead of responding to the RFE? It's got to be
very rare.
I don't do that too often. I do that. It always has to be part of a strategy. It has to be that they're literally murdering me on the RFE. Like, not me, my client, but like they're killing us. Okay. If they're killing us, like misapplication of the law, misinterpretation of the facts, they're inventing things that don't exist in the case or in the law. I have to take a hard look at that and be like,
this officer is already.
Can we win this or not? And I'm going to be very honest with you about it, and we have that conversation. Depends the type of case. And I could tell you. So I'm never going to withdraw a family case. I'm never going to withdraw. I'm very rarely would I withdraw an O1. I feel like I could win most O1 RFEs, but unfortunately, it may be denied. If it's something very, I-140s. EB-1, EB-2 NIW, EB-3 labor certifications. Labor certification generally not going to ever be withdrawing those. It has to be something like the company closed or, bankruptcy or like very specific. EB-2 NIW, you got to go for it.
Go for it.
Yeah.
What do you lose? Like, you already paid the filing fee to immigration, right?
Yeah.
The legal fee, I'm sure, is going to be nominal compared to what you already paid. You're already there. Why not?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you go for it? I was going to say exactly that situation. I would really only withdraw, especially for like world, if there's an issue with the company. The company is now defunct. It is now no longer activated, and they don't plan to activate the company again. If it's a perm, the company is no longer active. It's like, it has to be a very specific situation where I'm going to withdraw, or truly, like you said, it's a 22-page RFE.
Listen,
and I'm like,
if they caught you committing immigration fraud,
also a situation
like if they caught you because unbeknownst to us, you copy and pasted an article with your picture on it, and it wasn't yours, and it's like he's hanging out. So unbeknownst to us, and then you're like, yeah, Gil. Yeah,
I made fake evidence.
I did that. A couple of clients have told me that throughout the years. I'm like, okay. I mean, like, I think we need to withdraw this. Like, we need to like make sure that we don't get a denial. The reason he's saying that, I think, or she's saying that about withdrawing, Stephanie, is probably you hear something to the effect of, you don't want to have a case denied. A lot of people say that. A lot of attorneys say that. They're like, you don't want to have, I don't care if a case is denied. I mean, I care, but I don't care if it's denied for my possibility to get the benefit for the person. Because if the person qualified for the benefit, the visa, the petition, whatever it was, I think we need to stick to our guns here, and we need to aggressively pursue it. If they deny your case 2 or 3 times, I think we need to have, a hard look in the mirror and be like, yo, this is not going to happen, probably. Okay. And look for a different option.
And I will say that sometimes they do that when it's not even fair.
Oh, no. Yeah.
But no, precisely to your point, which is potentially, hold on, I lost my train of thought, but it was a good one. It was a really good one.
All right, keep fishing in there. Keep fishing. So I was just talking about the fact that we're going to rarely withdraw that, okay, obviously. But if the case was a good enough case, you keep pursuing that case.
Because, okay, so this is what I was going to say. If it's very rare that a denial doesn't give a single point, right?
That's very strange.
So an EB-2 and NIW is usually going to potentially give well-positioned, or maybe they're going to give substantial merit, but they're not going to give the third point. On an EB-1. Maybe they give 2 categories and not 3. So I'm not too concerned with the denial, because when I go ahead and refile in maybe 4 or 6 months, typically I'm going to include an explanation that says this was previously denied, but since then my client has now done XXX. Yeah. And so it's almost building upon the prior case. And so I'm not too concerned that I had a previous denial, because they already gave me substantial merit. And I'm going to explain explicitly in my letter, hey, you didn't give him well positioned last time, but let me show you what he's done since then. And I give those extra points. So I think that's why it may be useful. And I'm not too concerned with the denial, because you're rarely ever going to have just a blanket denial of absolutely everything, right? And you can build upon it. What?
He's a real one.
Team Gil.
Always watching your show. Spanish.
What's going on here?
The best. Thank you very much. I have little press. What evidence can replace it?
Tech doesn't need press.
Okay. So O-1A gives you more opportunities than an O-1B. When you're O-1B and you don't have press, it's like a little bit tough.
Yes.
Like, not impossible, but we've done a lot. How are you going to say that I'm like a personality, or I'm an artist, or I'm whatever, and I have 0 press? I think that's difficult, and I kind of push clients for O-1B to get more press. You are correct. You do not have to have press. You're going to have lead and critical role. Mm-hmm. Get yourself things like membership if that's a possibility. You're probably going to have a good high salary argument. Remember, salary, it's either salary in the past or salary in the future. So that's a way that we could go ahead and win that. Judging is a beautiful one. One instance of doing that is going to be sufficient to win that category. So, not everybody's going to have a ton of press. Is press helpful even for O-1A? Yes, I do believe it's helpful. And then also, think about what we're talking about press. When we're discussing press, I mean, it could be a tech podcast that's like one of the top 10 in its space, and they're interviewing you. That is not a traditional media, but it's going to have a media with phenomenal statistics to go ahead and argue in your case. So think outside the box when we're talking tech in particular about media. Don't think traditional like Forbes magazine and stuff like, New York Times, whatever, Wall Street Journal. No, you could go outside the box and have a very successful case.
And you can have publications that are specific to tech. So maybe the readership is incredibly low because, it's a very smaller community, but it is a publication specific to tech.
That's 100% true.
Yeah. Alrighty. So I have one that was here. Katia, I'm working for a tech company as a director of sales position where I have been transferred by the company as a highly qualified employee to another country should I apply for an EB-1 or an O-1A. So Katia, clearly we have a good critical role argument, right? So we can do a number of things. We can do O-1, we could do EB-1, we could do potentially EB-2 and NIW. It really depends on how we're going to argue it. I don't want to learn a little more about your case. But when you're really deciding between EB-1, EB-2 and NIW, and O-1, what you really have to consider is, do I want to live in the United States long term? AKA, do I want to go for a permanent residency application, which is EB-1 and EB-2? Or is the United States somewhere I want to try it out and see how it goes? And maybe I want to live there, but maybe I don't want to live there long term. In that case, go for an O-1. The other consideration is how quickly, considering they just transfer you to another country, do you want to come back to the US? Because if it is very, very quickly, you want to consider an O-1. But if you have time because you plan on being in that other country for a while, you can consider EB-1 and EB-2. So there are a lot of considerations, and it's more to temporal, I would say, as far as how you're going to make that decision.
Temporal?
Yes, like time.
I like it.
I know. Thanks.
I like it.
Did you like my vocabulary word for the day?
You've been reading.
I was reading.
I know. You're reading.
Oh, wait. Who's this? Anna. I have a green card thanks to Stephanie. Thanks, Anna. I'm also Venezuelan. While doing the green card. Anna, tell me your full name. I'm so curious. While doing the green card application, I obtained my Spanish citizenship. Would it be smart to change my nationality with USCIS? So Anna, very important point. With USCIS, they technically only have one country of what's called chargeability. So the country they assign to you will always be your country of birth. On the forms, for instance, on your N400, you will be able to list your additional citizenship, but for immigration purposes, you are always chargeable or belonging to your country of birth.
It's a great question too. That's going to be across the board to anybody
Mhm.
dealing with the Venezuelan situation. You could have your Spanish passport. There's clients that have 4 passports in different countries. If you're born in Venezuela, they're seeing you as a Venezuelan national, and that's the reality. You could apply for. I'm assuming you mean to apply for
N400.
N400 in the future. There is a pause in those cases.
Correct.
Like I said earlier, I mean, I really think, Anna, that they're gonna.
I think so.
That I think that pause is going to be suspended in hopefully the near term. Hey man, he always sees us. Great super lawyers always see you live. Happy New Year! Happy New Year. Let's talk with Alessandro. I have a pending case for removal of conditions of my marriage-based green card. I got the receipt from USCIS, which extends my residency for 48 months. Is it safe to travel internationally after recent events? I've had 0 issues with it, regardless of your nationality. Regardless of your nationality.
I really haven't had an issue.
I haven't had any issues, especially in the situation where the green card expired and my client is traveling with the 48-month extension and the expired green card. 0 issues. And I get that question very frequently. Many of my clients need to travel internationally and they have their green cards and the removal of conditions is pending. Unfortunately, that case is taking a while, even though I've noticed, not that you asked, Alessandro, but the processing times are a little bit faster currently.
They are. And they're faster than what's being reported online.
Yes.
Yeah.
Multiple, I would say multiple under the 2-year mark, which if you followed that category at all, you would know that it was at times well past the 3-year mark as well. Happy New Year. Happy Angeli. Happy New Year. Thank you. Tropis. What do you think about Liliana?
My priority date is from December 2024 and I haven't received a response yet. Should I be worried? Tell us the type of case, but assuming it's EB-2 NIW, don't be worried. Don't be worried. It's been 12 months. I know it's incredibly frustrating, but my EB-2 NIWs are taking in excess of 14 months.
We're so much more relaxed in the English show. In the Spanish show, you'd be like,
oh no.
Oof. Oof.
I feel more relaxed in the English show.
Ruthie, hi. I just applied for naturalization. I'm Venezuelan and Portuguese. Do you think that will be paused? Yes, I do. I think it likely will be paused. Yeah, I've already seen it. I have clients that have Italian, Venezuelan. The N400's pending right now. An interview was set up in December. They went ahead and they canceled the interview notices. Happened to multiple clients of ours. Not just N400, green card application, interviews, everything. Just I hope, Ruthie, it's not going to be for too long. Okay.
Oh, Anabela, nice. I'm so glad you're here, Anabela. Yes, but basically, it's exactly what Gil is saying. You can submit it. So the pause doesn't affect you being able to submit your N400, and you can. It's just going to take a while to be adjudicated. You're fine because you have your green card. You're totally okay. Submit it. You never know. We also think with these proclamations, they may be eliminated very soon with the current situation in Venezuela. And I do have, it's not going to be adjudicated, but it's going to be fine.
I think it is going to be fine. I'll tell you, I feel a lot better this week than I did last week about the situation.
No one feels better after New Year's. Everyone feels great during that dead week between Christmas and New Year's.
I'm talking about the Venezuelan situation.
Oh, just generally? Okay. Specifically, because I felt great last week.
I feel great this week. I love the New Year's. New beginning, new opportunities. I love it. Lucas is like, hey, where are the likes? Guys, if you enjoy this content, and you would like us to continue doing it, if you can share it with other people, that would be wonderful. If you could say like to us, that'd be very, very helpful to us. And we're very grateful if you could subscribe to the channel. Steph, it is
time.
The end
Thank
of the
you so
show.
much.
Thank you, guys. See you later. Take care.